While Finance Minister Grant Robertson declined to be interviewed on Checkpoint, we also invited Education Minister Chris Hipkins on the program, but he was unavailable. National Party leader Simon Bridges, though, was happy to oblige, and he joins us now. Good evening. The government is doing...
Lisa.
Hi, the government's doing the right thing here, isn't it? Redirecting unspent money to priority areas. Wouldn't you agree that that's fiscally responsible?
Well, I suppose it's fiscally responsible to stop throwing good money after bad. I mean, there's no doubt Labor's policies are falling like dominoes, and this is the latest in fees free. And you're right, as it said in the intro package there, we have been hugely sceptical of it. But then you go to what it's being spent on, and it's going into the government's crazy polytech ideas, which I'm sure will be bound to be another policy fail in this area. And actually, that's what teachers are looking at. They see that, and that's why their strike is striking in unprecedented numbers later this month.
Why is this a policy fail? Because you do have 50,000 students who've taken advantage of free fees. This was not just about raising the numbers, it was about getting rid of generation debt. So how can you characterise that as a fail?
It was always going to be a fail in that it's a huge waste of New Zealanders' money, and it's entirely untargeted. People who are going anyway receiving this money, only 6% of people getting it have said it's important to them, and that's a University of Canterbury study. But then you go back and you say, well, actually, heck, if the very policy that was meant to get more people going to university, polytechs and wānanga, to democratise that, if you like, is resulting in fewer students, look, that is an epic public policy fail.
They would argue, the government would argue that prior to implementing this policy, that university tertiary enrolments were dropping off. In fact, in the previous year, 5,000 fewer students enrolled. So they would argue that they have stemmed the flow.
I suppose, Lisa, it's pretty hard for them to say that when their cabinet paper shows an estimate of 80,000. Today, Grant Robertson says 50,000. And in fact, what we also know is Chris Hipkins has documents that tell him the real figures, which I think will show that it's gone backwards in real terms. That is, there's fewer students in various tertiary organisations today than there were, last year, perhaps even the year before. But he won't release that detail. So, on their own terms, it didn't meet where they forecast. In fact, it's much back from that. And that's why they've freed up some money from, a real public policy fail here.
So if National was in government, you'd ditch this altogether? No free fees?
Well, obviously, we'll make those sort of announcements.
You can't come on and say it's a complete policy fail and then not give us a commitment either way as to what you would do. That would seem a little disingenuous, wouldn't it?
Lisa, there are some small benefits from being in opposition, and this is one of them.
What, hedging your bets?
But I make no secret of the fact we're hugely sceptical. This has been a real waste of New Zealanders' money. It hasn't worked. And, what we're seeing is...
How can you say it's an extreme waste of money? It's an extreme waste of money and a policy fail, yet give no commitment either way whether you would maintain it or ditch it?
There's so many things I'd love to say, Lisa, but...
Well, here's your platform. Say them.
We'll be outlining our positive plans around what we would do next year, not this one.
Okay, so they found $1 billion down the back of the couch, right, by looking at things that are no longer a priority. Give me your number one spend. Where would you put the $1 billion, the extra?
Well, I've made last year an announcement that actually I think we need smaller class size ratios, that is more teachers to students. That's important. I've also made it clear that as you've got cost of living rising massively under this government, rents up $50 a week, petrol up $2.21 around about at the moment.
So a tax cut. You'd give a tax cut, would you?
I have a bill in Parliament, the tax indexation, which means that taxes don't rise by stealth, and actually as costs of living go up, people get real tax relief there. That would be another priority for me. And look, before the election, we'll be announcing more. You know what I think the real problem was, though, in Grant Robertson's speech is ultimately, when you look at it all, there were plenty of excuses for a weakening economy, but there was no plan to grow the economy. He's got this pretty nebulous...
Mr Bridges, you won't disclose your plan.
No.
You're criticising him for not having detail. You won't tell us either way whether you would scrap the free fees policy.
I could tell you this quite clearly, Lisa, if there was an election called today, I could roll out my plan. We've already this year put out a comprehensive environmental document. We are next week on Monday putting out...
Yeah, I'm asking you
foreign
about free
affairs
fees policy,
review.
so you won't say either way. Okay. Hey, I just want to ask you a couple of other questions while I've got you on the line, which is a story has surfaced today in the Herald regarding the police investigation into text messages sent to your former MP, Jamie Lee Roth. It seems that investigation is stalled because of a lack of cooperation. So I'm just wondering, do you have confidence in your Invercargill MP, Sarah Dowie, who has allegedly sent some of these texts? Do you have confidence in her?
Firstly, I'm not going to speculate on what is or isn't in the story. I haven't read
Not
it,
asking
by
you
the
to
way.
do that.
I
Asking
would
you to
never
express
comment on
either
those
way.
things.
I'm asking you to express
have-
either way whether you have confidence in your MP, Sarah Dowie. Not asking you to delve into the police investigation. Confidence is the issue here. Do you have it in her or not?
I have complete confidence in Sarah Dowie. I was with her on Friday and Saturday of last week in Invercargill. We got a great reception. She's fighting for their SIT, their polytechnic down there that Chris Hipkins has other ideas for a Catlins Reserve. She's doing a great job championing the local issues.
We're running out of time, so sorry to interrupt, but have you told her that you expect her as an MP in the National Party to cooperate with the police in their investigation?
Well, I wouldn't be here telling you what I have or haven't said. And as I was saying...
Why not? This is an issue of your leadership. It's an issue of your leadership and your expectations as a leader. So is it your expectation that an MP, one of your MPs, you would expect them to cooperate with a police investigation, and have you told her that that's what your expectation is?
It's pretty simple, Lisa. I'm not going to comment on something that may be before the police.
Not asking you to comment on the investigation. I'm asking you to comment on your leadership. So,
but you actually are by asking these questions, and I've been pretty clear with you. I'm not going to do that. I've got real confidence in a great local MP who's doing a great job for the people of Invercargill.
Former leader of the National Party, Bill English, he made it very clear to Todd Barclay when Todd Barclay found himself in a similar position that he expected Mr Barclay to cooperate with the police. Have standards changed or dropped since you came into the leadership, or can you confirm that you would expect the same?
I think New Zealanders have seen my style of leadership. They've seen the strength I bring in terms of dealing with bad behaviour when I've seen it. But I'm not going to characterise these things for the reasons I've already outlined.
Thank you for joining us. That is Simon Bridges, the leader of the National Party.